For 65 years, Evergreen has opened doors to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our dedicated staff, Presbyterian Church, our board members, and our community have provided thousands of people with better lives. In celebration of Evergreen's 65th birthday, let's take a moment to reflect on what the world was like 65 years ago. Ike was president.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike. Everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum. We'll take Ike to Washington.
America and the Soviet Union were deep in the Cold War.
Which for the future of civilization must be brought under control through a workable system of disarmament.
Martin Luther King Jr. was in India learning nonviolent resistance from Mohandas Gandhi.
Always feel that you count, always feel that you have worth, and always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
A gallon of gas cost 25 cents.
This is one of a fleet. I got a lot of guns, don't bother me. You did a good job. You boys have a drink on me, keep it safe. Is that all right?
Alaska and Hawaii became states.
Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover.
The first transcontinental commercial flight began operating. It flew from Los Angeles to New York.
I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own.
Elvis Presley was serving in the U.S. Army in West Germany after being drafted.
Knock me down, step in my face, slander my name all over the place.
The first Grammy Awards were hosted. Ella Fitzgerald won. John F. Kennedy turned 39 and was planning his candidacy for president.
He's got what all the rest lack. Everyone wants to back Jack. Jack is on the right track 'cause he's got high hopes.
His sister, Rosemary, who was born with a disability, was living in an institution after receiving a lobotomy in 1941. And across the country and most of the world, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities suffered. Many in society viewed persons with disabilities in the most negative light. Some felt that having a disability was contagious or was the fault of the parents. And parents seeking help for their children were told by doctors that the best place for their child was to be sent away to live in an institution. Conditions in many of those institutions would shock us today. At best, individuals spent their lives on an impersonal regimen with few or no possessions, often cared for by an apathetic staff. It was all too common that individuals living in institutions endured abuse, sometimes so severe it resulted in death. Offered few options, some parents chose to care for their child at home until they reached adulthood. These parents lived in fear of what would become of their sons and daughters after they passed away. Who would care for them? Would he or she be taken advantage of? Would they end up in an institution? Meanwhile, a few parents in a bucolic northern Louisiana town called Evergreen had a dream for their adult sons with disabilities. A camp for their sons like the ones their peers without disabilities were able to experience. A camp that would promote independence, build self-esteem, and nurture friendships. The founding families of Evergreen refused to accept institutionalization as the only option for their boys. They took their vision of a summer camp to the Presbyterian leaders within the Synod of Louisiana.
The church turn their dream to a reality greater than anyone could ever have imagined. Evergreen Presbyterian Ministries was born. It began as a year-long vocational training school for men with intellectual disabilities. The Evergreen School was nestled on 76 acres of land with a pig farm, gardens, and eventually a dairy. Its mission was to provide residents with the skills needed to become productive members of their community. The need for an alternative to institutional living was huge. Evergreen grew from 4 people served in the first year to 50 the third to nearly 300 in its 11th year. Evergreen's reputation across the United States also grew. Soon, Evergreen was recognized as a national leader in serving people with disabilities. Today, 65 years since we opened our doors, Evergreen proudly serves more than 1,000 men and women in 7 states. The people we serve live as a part of their communities. They work for local businesses, volunteer, pay taxes, and vote. Their family members have peace of mind knowing their sons and daughters will live happy and fulfilling lives with Evergreen after they pass away. Thanks to the unwavering support of board members, parents of people we serve, the faith community, and donors, what began as a seedling of a dream has blossomed. Because of you, Evergreen has grown into one of the most compassionate and successful organizations for people with disabilities in the country. Evergreen's community homes are filled with the gentleness, support, and love that make our world a much better place. Throughout the years, we have found hope, and now together, we can look forward to a very bright future. Join us today as we recognize Evergreen's remarkable journey, 65 years in the making. 65 years of love. evergreenls.org/give